The Wheel and the Butterfly. It did not look like you clicked record. Okay, start over. The Wheel and the Butterfly. Written by Justice 3442 and read
by Justice
and 3442. Chapter 40. Pinky versus Philanthropy. Pinky slowly opened her eyes to the sounds of birds chirping. Sunlight shot through the blinds in bright bands of light across her face, and over the light blue blanket she was under. She smiled as she enjoyed the warm feeling on her face, and also the warm feeling on her back. She reached to her abdomen to discover two arms had wrapped her in a tight embrace. She giggled as she lightly tapped her finger against the hands on her torso in a rhythmic fashion. Dan stirred from behind her and nuzzled his head into her pink curls. "Oh, I can get used to this," Pinky purred. Without warning, Dan shot up and threw the covers off his bare chest and boxers. He inhaled a large amount of air before he slammed his head into the swinging lamp directly over the bed.
Ah!
"Eeeh!" Pinky responded, startled by Dan's sudden jump and frantic behavior. Dan flailed his hands at the lamp as Pinky quickly sat up and stopped it swinging before it could land another blow on Dan. Pinky looked at Dan with concern. Mr. Mumbles gave an alarmed meow and bounded off the bed at the sudden movement. "Dan, what's wrong? What happened?" Pinky asked. Dan shot her a glare.
I couldn't breathe with my face in your stupid hair.
Pinky attempted to keep her concerned and sympathetic look, but it quickly fell to a grin as her body shook with the laughter she was failing at stifling. "I'm sorry?" Dan frowned.
Alright, admittedly that does sound pretty idiotic.
"Sorry, Dan. My hair just has a mind of its own."
Apparently it has a mind for murder. It just tried to kill me.
Dan said, narrowing his eyes. Pinky grinned. "It's very attached to its territory, i.e. my scalp." Dan glared again, this time directly at Pinky's hair.
Next time I'll bring an electric shear.
Dan commented. Pinky smirked. "You tried that already, remember?" Bzzz. Dan glared down at the mop of pink curls around his roommate's face that blanketed the white pillow she was sleeping away on.
Alright, hair.
Dan spat out angrily.
Your reign of terror ends today. No longer will I wake up to find you covering the drain in the bathtub. This ends now. From hell's heart I stab at thee.
Dan stuck his electronic weapon into the amorphous pink collection of curls. Rotating razors drank deeply of the beast's flesh as the shears descended into the deep mass of bright locks.
Buzz.
Too deeply, it seemed. Soon the device was buzzing loudly in protest as it drowned in a sea of hair that was proving too thick and stalwart for the motor of the device. Dan removed his hand in alarm as the shears heated up to an uncomfortable temperature. Dan dove for the cord and unplugged it as the device burst into flames. He stared back and was suddenly staring straight into angry, questioning blue eyes. "Dan, why is my hair smoking and on fire?" Pinky asked in a calm voice laced with venom. Dan responded, attempting to come up with a reasonable answer that wouldn't get him stabbed. Pinky paused, closed her eyes, and held up her hands, palms facing Dan. "You know what? I'm gonna go stick my head in the shower." She opened her eyes, resuming her glare, and leveled an index finger at Dan. "When I come back, you better have an apology and an explanation, or I'm gonna make you eat whatever that thing in my hair is," she said in a threatening tone. Dan gulped.
Yes, ma'am.
Pinky calmly hopped out of bed, and not so calmly panically ran out of the bedroom and into the bathroom. Dan's glare fell as he was reminded of one of his less proud moments at a time when aggression against Pinky was something he'd do without a second thought.
Right. Sorry about that. Again.
Pinky simply smiled back at Dan. "Oh, it's okay. I got to wear hats for about a week and got really clever about combing over the burnt hair in that time," Pinky responded happily. "And hey, we both learned something important that day." Dan raised an eyebrow.
That your hair is an uncontrollable beast that consumes all in its path?
Pinky giggled and playfully waved a dismissive hand at Dan. "No, silly. I learned I should clean my hair out of the drain, and you learned..." Pinky paused and quickly glanced to the side. "Well, I guess you did learn that thing you just said," she exclaimed.
It's great you can be so understanding about your hair being attacked and set on fire,
Dan replied.
Pretty sure most girls would have made me eat the shears.
He explained, mumbling.
Provided they'd ever speak to me again.
Pinky continued to smile and shrugged. "You didn't mean to set my hair on fire."
No, but I did mean to shave it off.
Dan insisted. "Oh, don't worry about it," Pinky replied. "You apologized, my hair grew back, and everything is hunky-dory."
If you say so.
Pinky nodded vigorously. "I do say so." She sprang from the bed and walked over to the bedroom closet. "Now, if you'll excuse me." Pinky pulled on the sliding door to the closet, revealing it was 50% full of colorful, mostly pink clothing, and 50% full of sharp and dangerous-looking weapons. I seem to be wearing the same thing I was last night and could probably do with a shower. Dan hopped off the bed as Pinky fished out her white button-up shirt, black vest, rainbow leg warmers, and cut-off jean shorts. Pinky turned and grinned slyly at Dan. Now, how do you suppose I made it from the couch to the bed, I wonder? She cooed. Dan blushed slightly and walked to his dresser, grumbling.
You're heavy.
Sheepishly. Pinky grinned wide. I thought as much. A round of showers and dressing later.
So,
Dan began sitting on the couch next to Pinky, water still dripping off his hair.
what does Pinkie Pie want to do with her day?
Pinky smiled bemusedly. Why, Mr. Mandel, are you actually asking me what I want to do for a charge? She asked, fluttering her eyelids.
What?
Dan said, feigning hurt in his voice.
I'm sure you have plenty of awesome ideas to kill a day.
Well, since you asked, Pinky said with a grin, I was thinking I've been given mostly courtesy of Las Vegas, that I should really give something back to those who need it. Dan frowned.
I stand corrected.
Oh, come on, Pinky insisted, throwing her hands out. I'm sure it'll be fun.
Since when is giving money to people too lazy to make it themselves fun?
Dan asked, raising an eyebrow. Maybe we can think of a way to make it fun, Pinky insisted. Dan paused as a mischievous smile crept across his face.
Alright, I have an idea. Have you ever heard of a t-shirt cannon?
The red hatchback pulled up to a bearded man wearing a black beanie and brown tattered, patched, and soiled clothes. Flies buzzed around him as he held up a sign that read, We'll juggle lobsters for cash. Dan and Pinky stared at him from their rolled-down car windows. Dan in the driver's seat and Pinky in the back seat. Dan glared at the grungy-looking homeless man.
You're missing some E's there.
Couldn't afford 'em, the man responded in a gruff voice. Pinky giggled. Good one. Dan's expression softened a bit.
You get many handouts with that line?
A bit, the homeless man admitted.
Well, here comes the motherlode,
Dan said with a grin.
Get him, Pinky.
Wait! Pinky looked at the hobo with a huge grin on her face. Can you really juggle lobsters? The man grinned under his dingy beard. For a pretty lady like yourself, of course. I'll have lobster flying around in a jiffy. Exactly one jiffy later. Get him off, get him off, get him off, get him off! Pinky and Dan looked down at the tramp as red lobsters clambered all over his body and affixed themselves to him via their large, painful-looking claws. Pinky turned to Dan. This wasn't as much fun as I was expecting.
I, for one, am pleasantly surprised by the level of entertainment here,
Dan responded.
But I guess you can always put him out of his misery.
Okay, Pinky responded, diving into the back seat and re-emerging with a large black cylindrical cannon with a large barrel that pointed directly at the homeless man. Wait! The hobo pleaded, standing up. A lobster hung by its claws on his beard as the other lobsters remained attached to his appendages. Just give me another jiffy. I promise I'll get a Maribor this time. Don't worry, Pinky said. It'll be all over in a second, she assured. The bearded man closed his eyelids and quickly made peace with his maker. Thump! A green projectile slammed into the tramp, sending him flying into his cardboard home behind him with a loud crash. $100 bills exploded in all directions and drifted gently to the ground. God bless you, the homeless man warbled out. Pinky beamed as Dan drove off.
You're right, Pinky. Helping others is fun.
He grinned evilly.
Let's see who else we can help.
What? I said that.
That's Pinky speaking.
Hello, sir. My name is Crunchy, it rhymes with Munchies, and I'm here to today say, what would you like to save the whales today? A blonde-haired, dreadlocked... Oh, that's a man. I'll redo it. You're gonna have to edit this. I'm sorry.
Hello, sir. My name is Crunchy. It rhymes with Munchies. And I am here today to say, would you like to save the whales today?
A blonde-haired, dreadlocked man with pink glasses, a green shirt, purple vest, khakis, and flum-flops held out a large coffee can and shook it about. Pinky clapped her hands happily. Ooh, I like him. He rhymed. Dan turned back to the pink-haired girl hanging out the backseat window.
He used today twice. That's hardly poetry.
Pinky raised her hands in a shrug. At least he tried.
Hey, man, the whales could really use your support,
Crunchy insisted. Dan furrowed his brow, turning back towards Crunchy.
What have the whales ever done for me?
Dan demanded.
No, brah, ask not what the whales can do for you, but ask what mankind has done to the whales.
The hippie replied.
Not enough, apparently,
Dan said.
They're still here, aren't they?
Dan retorted.
Sir, if you're not here to support our cause of restoring balance in the ocean, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Crunchy said, folding his arms across his chest. Dan shrugged.
Suits me.
He started the car. Wait! Pinky shouted from the back seat. Dan, we have so much. We don't need to be picky Mickeys. Dan sighed.
You're right, Pinky. Give the man everything that's coming to him.
Crunchy grinned and held up his coffee tin, but his grin quickly turned to alarm as Pinky raised her large black cannon-looking aperture. Thump! Crunchy flew back into a table full of Save the Whale flyers. The table snapped in half at the impact, and flyers buried the hippie as a Save the Whales banner collapsed, taking 2 large plastic poles with it, and into the center of the papery, money-massive injured hippie. Ooh, Pinky said through clenched teeth. Sorry.
It's all good. Thanks for your cash.
Crunchy responded, one of his arms pointed in a rather unnatural angle. I can fix this, Pinky declared. She quickly reloaded her cannon, took aim, and fired another round into Crunchy, who gurgled painfully in response.
Pinky!
Dan shouted.
Stop giving the dirty hippie all your money.
But hospitals are expensive, Pinky protested. Crunchy weakly raised his finger into the air.
Mother Nature thanks you.
The finger fell limply into the pile of $100 bills.
The linger fell simply.
Dan snickered to himself and drove off. Want to buy some Girl Scout cookies, mister? A small, freckled, red-headed girl asked, her hair curly and long. She wore a white shirt with a green sash across it and a matching green skirt.
You're adorable, kid. We'll take all of them,
Dan said, happily. Really, mister? The child replied, a dazzling smile exploding across her face. Dan nodded.
Yep. Get her, Pinky! Dan
commanded. Pinky quickly popped out from the backseat window and leveled her cannon. Thump! Ah! The little girl screamed in alarm as a green mass of bills exploded across her face.
Would you like to help fund diabetes research?
A balding man with bushy white eyebrows and an equally bushy mustache asked. Thump.
My pancreas!
Well, it wasn't working right anyways, Pinky offered, grinning sheepishly.
Dude, I think you just shot a celebrity, Dan observed.
Boy Scout coupons? Thump. Ugh!
Breast cancer research?
Thump.
Ah! Why would you shoot at those?
Save the trees? Thump. Bandersnatch.
Save the owls?
Thump.
Whiffle.
Save the hungry? Thump. Dolgy.
Save the dolphins.
Thump.
Verbal.
Save the tuna? Thump. Frabjous.
Save the tuna from the dolphins?
Thump. 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 Thump.
I think that homeless guy just twitched,
Dan commented. Thump. A devilish grin spread across Dan's face.
Much better.
Pinky disposited the t-shirt cannon on his seat next to her, breathing heavily. There, I think that's enough helping the needy for now.
I'm not sure the needy can survive any more of our help anyways,
Dan commented. Pinky put her hands on the seat in front of her and leaned forward. I'm starving, she announced. Wanna grab a burger?
Do I?
Dan responded enthusiastically. Pinky propelled herself forward neatly onto the passenger seat and quickly buckled her seatbelt. The red hatchback cruised down the street, palm trees passing on either side.
Don't just pay the drive-thru worker with the money, Cannon,
Dan said. Aw, you're no fun, Pinky said in a pouting tone.
I mean it,
Dan said.
Save that level of carnage for Lenny's.
Pinky began dismissively. Like I'd fire at money at anyone who works there.
You know,
Dan began.
We can always figure out what else this thing can fire.
Pinky giggled. I guess we know what we're doing tomorrow, she sang. Thanks for listening, listeners.